Good day to you, and welcome to another adventure with the Redstone Wizard. Still enjoying my Power Ranger suit here. So, we are starting out today as a Redstone tutorial type thing. Now, we're starting out nice little nifty base. You know, have everything we need here. Now, one of the cool things, press this nice little button here, and out of nowhere pops a chest where we can go ahead and enter in any item that we do so choose. Now, one of the cool things about this chest, when we hide it away, it is replaced by a block right away, so you really can't tell that there's anything at all there. And one of the other cool things is that, as you'll notice, your item stays inside. So it's a completely hidden system that, you know, people look at this button, they'll think, oh, it turns on the dragon head or any other thing like that. I'll show that there are a few different input methods available. Now, another cool thing here, one of the things you'll need to do is you'll need to listen for how this actually sounds, and let's see if you can figure out what's going on. So, what happens there is that we're actually delaying the door a little bit. You'll notice the button is unextended, however the door remains open for a period longer. A stone button certainly doesn't have that kind of input. Now, the next place that we're going to hop into, let's say we've got this nice, beautiful little, let's say this is a room inside of our place, and this is pretty nice, pretty nifty. Now, one of the cool things, you would be able to like have a staircase, you know, decorate it. However, I'm a redstone wizard, I don't decorate. If we go ahead and place a piece of redstone right here, you'll see that a chest pops out of the ground. Now, within this chest, you'll notice that we do have some redstone. So when we pop the chest back down, it'll enter in. Now, one of the things we have right here allows us to pull out this block, and we see here that this chest enters on top of the hoppers here to funnel into this chest. Now, at the moment the hopper is locked, but we come right on out here. Now, this door right here is another mechanic in and of itself where you go ahead and hide things right away. Now, to go over some of the things that we did see here, we're going to start at this end and work our way all the way over to that end. So we're going to start out looking at this mechanic right here, which is the hide away chest. Pretty nifty. So if we go ahead and take a look over here, this is the basic mechanic of it. Alright, we need to make sure that we are powering this block. So right now I do have a lever on this block. This can be anything. Redstone block, any kind of input whatsoever. But I do have a repeater heading into that block because with the Pocket Edition, we can actually place redstone components on top of pistons. And this is an amazing use for that. So we can go ahead and place this piece of redstone dust right here. And because this block becomes powered by the redstone dust, it extends this piston downward, turning on this redstone dust, which then turns off this torch, onto this torch, off to this torch, which retracts the piston, thus breaking the redstone that powered the piston in the first place, retracting and resetting the system. Now, one of the things about this torch tower here allows for a 3-tick delay on the top of it, which allows for a short time in. Now, one of the nifty things that I've done over here is I've actually taken just a pulse off of that into one of the mechanisms that we'll see earlier. So one of these torches that is currently off is powering into a block. Now when that flips, you can power it on and allow it to output a flash signal. Now the next one that we have here is the T flip-flop that works in my opinion, one of the best in the Pocket Edition. We do have some different redstone mechanics. Now, one of the cool things, you can actually take input off of most of this. However, due to the nature of Pocket Edition Redstone, you cannot detect with a comparator anything less than a 2-tick signal. So inside of the lit up dropper right here, you'll notice that we have one item. That item will cycle through and allow us to be able to receive different inputs when I press this button. That piece of redstone will now enter into this dropper, which will then power on. Now, the cool thing about this, we have this dropper right here, which leads into this dropper, and then this dropper into this dropper, then this dropper into this hopper right here. One of the biggest things about the T flip-flop is that this block right here must be a hard powered block. It cannot be a soft powered block, meaning that you have a piece of redstone which runs into it. It must be hard powered by either a torch or a repeater, or by making the block itself be the bottom block of the redstone. There are multiple ways that you can lay this out, both on its side, upside down, and all kinds of ways based on where you need to place this within your circuit. However, it is an on-off switch in essence. It allows us to be able to take a redstone signal off of any one of those. Now, these two, to detect items in these, do not ever turn on as a result of that, again, 2-tick delay issue that we may see. So right now when I click this is going to send the item up into this dropper. This dropper will then send it into this hopper and unpower the system. The hopper will then drop the item into the dropper and we're good to go. The next time when I power this item, it'll actually power this dropper as well, which will move the item into here. However, being as how this dropper is powered, the item will not move. So it's pretty nifty the way that we get a soft powered dropper to actually push the item in the hard powered dropper to stop the item. So we get the on-off switch. Now, that can be used and was used over here in the back of the mechanism. So we used this torch tower system to be able to get a flash into our T flip-flop, which was our dropper over here. And that allows us to turn on and off our extender. Now over here, I have gone ahead and exposed the redstone so that we can see it just a little bit better. Now this one is a little bit more of a complicated system, but we'll see as we press the button here, it does swap out every single time fluidly. So we take, instead of an on-off in this system, we take a left or a right approach. So in this instance, we have powered on this comparator, which is actually turned off this torch and turned off the power to this piston, meaning that it is not trying to push any longer. This piston, on the other hand, is extended completely, and that allowed the object to be pushed. Now you'll notice here we have almost no delay upon this line. In order to extend the piston first, you'll see when we push this, it's actually going to unpower this piston and power this one, so that when this arm comes down, it pushes the block over, or in this next case, it will push the chest over. Now down here, we do place a little bit of a delay upon this piston in the middle here. We want to go ahead and pull this piston down after we've put pressure on the piston here. That means the moment the extended piston head, which is an immovable object, gets pulled down, the object on top, which is movable, is then pressured into the overside. We do have it set on a 3-tick delay. It does have an option for a 4-tick delay, as long as you are looking at a minimum of a 3-tick delay. I feel the 3-tick delay just kind of makes it a little faster, and you know, when it's faster, it It just looks better. You can run this on multiple delays. I just found that runs the best. Now, this actually does allow us to output into this hopper right here. Now you'll notice over there I did experience an issue where my item did not funnel through, and the result of that is because of this right here. It locks that hopper, but without that in there, you do get your items to funnel right through, where you can actually either put that into another hopper or other storage system and hide it right away. Of course, it can come into the back here or anywhere else that you may fancy, and shuffle it off to where you need. This is a pretty nifty system, and again, it's not too complicated. It's just about getting this T flip-flop here in the middle, and then you choose to the left or to the right and place a repeater heading into this so that you can push on either side, and when you choose left or right, it allows you to go in. So when you combine systems like this one here as well as this over here, it allows you to be able to get a whole working system, as we see right in here when we place down this redstone. Now, there are plenty of other things to take a look at, including this right here. When we actually look at this, is a pretty nifty door, completely flush with the floor, no way to see it. Again, this can be combined with a T flip-flop or any other mechanisms in order to be able to power it. Just the lever makes it easy to see what's going on here, and this is a super simple Jeb door. So one of the things we start out with, this piston is the first piston to extend and the last piston to extend. So we start out by having our input directly over this block that we're missing. I'll go ahead and unpower it now so we see. So right here we have this block, and that allows us to be able to retract that piston, the very first thing. Now when we do place a 4-tick delay heading into this block right here, which actually powers not only this top piston but also this bottom piston as well. It is on a 4-tick delay, that way that you do have time to retract this piston, allowing both the piston and the block to become a movable object by these two pistons here. However, during the extension sequence, this block can be a little bit later because this block does not power these pistons. Once we go ahead and power this block, this piston extends, it becomes powered by this lifting the block above. And that allows you to be able to go ahead and hide away a nice input. One of the good things about that is that you can do things like I did over here and have a nice slime block at the bottom, a water source or any other kind of thing like that, so you can actually fall and not have any damage. There are delay circuits and things like that that can make other things work out really well. Now I do have one other thing in here. We did take a look at a few different mechanics as well. The hideaway chest. Now this one does not have any kind of storage system, and as you can see, it is just a little bit different. Now one of the things that we have right here is we do have a double piston extender. So I'm going to go ahead and take you over here real quick. Excuse the mess. To our explanation of the double piston extender in our Pocket Edition. With a double piston extender, you must always complete this sequence: a 4-tick delay to the bottom, an 8-tick delay to the middle, and a no or 1-tick delay to the top. You can receive a 1-tick delay, it is okay. Once we go ahead and power this up, we'll notice that the pistons extend out. And then when we go ahead and pull it back in, we will see both the piston pull in. The second piston will then pull back on the first piston. Then we will see the first piston reach out for its block. That way it pulls it back in. See, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. And there we go. And that allows us to have a complete setup for piston action, both up, down, left, right, doesn't matter, as long as we stick by this standard formula, the 4, 8, 0. And that allows us to be able to get a double piston extender just about any direction we may want. So as we see here, down at the bottom, we've got our bottom piston set on a 4-tick delay. Our middle here is set on an 8 tick delay, and that allows us to power this block. And then right off here, we've got no delay here. However, we do have a torch, and the torch equals a 1 tick delay, but the thing is that 1 tick delay is equaled out through the entire system. So this piece of redstone dust equals out to a 0 delay. Now we do add a slight amount of delay to this redstone torch, and that allows enough time for this to actually get pulled down and allow for the second block retraction to take place, pulling down the block. 3 ticks later, we'll have this piston extend out. In order for the system to work, we do need to make sure that this piston pulls the system back before we start extending things upward. And as a result of that, we have this line right here, which is attached to the same block as the original torch there, set up so that we do see a little bit of like a 1 tick delay before we pull this off. And believe it or not, that is quick enough so that we can see right here, we will have that pull down and pull up, and then when we reactivate the system, we will see that it pulls away before everything moves up. And that allows us to be able to complete a flush with the floor hidden system. Now, a couple of flaws with this. We do want to make sure that this is against a wall, as we see here. And we want to probably do somewhere inside the base or something, not like right on the outside wall, because you are going to have a little bit of a footprint. Unlike the PC, we definitely notice that the Pocket Edition has a little bit, let's call it thicker redstone mechanics. But we do have the ability to get a lot of the same actions, and they can't move their chests like we can. Now, of course, this does make the chest inaccessible while you do have the block on top of there. So if you do want access to this chest while it's down here, you do want to switch this out to like a half slab or something of that nature, in which it will allow you access to the chest even while it's down here, just in case for some reason within your design this is a storage system instead of just like a hidey chest. Now, we did experience a bit of a delay when we open up this door, and that actually is a mechanic in and of itself here that we will see over here. So once we go ahead and press this button right here, we will see that this redstone, it does activate the door. We also then experience a 4 tick delay, allowing this redstone to continue to be lit up even after this redstone is no longer lit up. However, 4 tick delay is actually just about as long as the button itself, and doesn't really provide us with the real necessary lengthening for this door. So as a result, we go ahead and take off this block, a 4 tick delay repeat going in this direction. Also, we then take off of the back of the block. We want to make sure we go 4 tick, 4 tick, 4 tick, all the way around, block to block to block. Now, it's very important that we're not creating a circular pattern. If we do create a circular pattern, that means that we're actually going to turn the door on and keep it on for good. Instead, we want to make sure that we're powering this sole block for an extended period of time. 4 ticks at first to allow enough time for the redstone signal to make it through this repeater setup. Then it does take an additional 12 ticks a delay in order to reduce this down to the ability to get here. Now remember that 1 game tick is equal to about half of a second. So we end up getting, about 6 seconds from the point in time in which we first click this to get us all the way through that door in order to be able to see a good move through. So that pretty well completes the redstone tutorial setup here. Now, of course, if you do want to get a little bit more in depth with some of these, if you want a block by block tutorial to it, go ahead and leave a like, a comment, subscribe. Definitely take a peek at what is available here, and if you do have any interest in checking out other redstone contraptions, or if you have an idea of something you'd like to see in redstone, let the wizard know.